Today, we're diving into the story of a true titan of the Mughal Empire, Raja Todar Mal. We're talking about a finance minister, a military general, and the architect of an economic system so brilliant you can still feel its echoes today.
But here's the kicker, the really fascinating twist that defines his entire story. How did the man who would literally build the financial backbone of the Mughal Empire start his career working for the guy who kicked them out of India in the first place? Okay, let's get into it. So, to set the stage, you've got two major players. On one side, there's Sher Shah Suri, this brilliant, ambitious ruler who actually defeated the Mughals and set up his own empire. And on the other side, the Mughals. They were temporarily exiled, sure, but they were destined to come back and build one of the greatest empires in history. Todar Mal's story starts right smack in the middle of this epic power struggle.
So let's start at the beginning, with Todar Mal's early years. This is where his incredible talents were forged, not in service to the Mughals, but, in direct opposition to them.
He was born in what's now Uttar Pradesh with the name Al-Tandan. His family had this deep background in accounting and record-keeping, so numbers were kind of in his blood. His father passed away when he was young, but he took those family skills and his own sharp mind and carved out a career for himself, landing his first big role in the court of the one and only Sher Shah Suri.
And get this, one of his first major projects was overseeing the construction of the massive Rohtas fort in Punjab. Now, this was not just any fort. It was a huge strategic stronghold designed specifically to block and defend against, you guessed it, the Mughals. This really shows you that from day one, Sher Shah Suri saw his potential and trusted him with absolutely critical work.
So let's be crystal clear about this. His job was to be a thorn in the side of the Mughals. He was actively working to stop their expansion and help his boss, Sher Shah Suri, grow his empire. For all intents and purposes, he was a key player in the anti-Mughal strategy. But, history has a funny way of flipping the script, turning enemies into allies. And this is where we see one of the most incredible career pivots in all of Indian history. So after Sher Shah Suri dies and the Mughals come roaring back to reclaim India, Todar Mal's name was already legendary. His reputation for being an administrative genius was so well known that it reached the ears of the young Emperor Akbar. And honestly, this says a lot about Akbar too. He was a guy who looked for talent, period. He didn't care about your past loyalties, he just wanted the best people. And you have to understand, Akbar's court wasn't just some ordinary royal court. It was home to the Navratnas, the 9 gems. Think of it like the Avengers of the 16th century, a council of the most brilliant minds of the time, from artists and scholars to military strategists. And this was the elite club that Todar Mal was about to join. And his rise through the Mughal ranks, it was nothing short of meteoric. He starts working for Akbar in the 1560s and immediately proves his worth. By the 1570s, he's the governor of Gujarat. Then, in 1580, he gets the top finance job in the entire empire, Diwani Ashraf, the finance minister. And right after that, he's officially named one of the 9 gems.
But here's the thing. Calling him just a finance minister, that is a massive understatement. Todar Mal was a true pillar of the state. He was this multi-talented leader whose influence went way beyond the treasury.
If you want to really understand his status, you just need to know one number: 4,000. Akbar made him a mansabdar of 4,000. That was an unbelievably high military and noble rank. We're not talking about a desk job here. This title meant he commanded thousands of soldiers and had immense authority, straight from the emperor himself.
And he absolutely put that command to good use. The very same guy who once built forts against the Mughals was now leading their armies to victory. He wasn't just some numbers guy who popped by the front lines. No, he was a skilled general who crushed rebellions and secured vital territories for the empire, proving his loyalty and his genius on the battlefield.
But for all his military and political skill, his greatest, most lasting legacy lies in the revolutionary economic systems he engineered. This is where he truly earned the title architect of an empire. He called it the Daha-Sala system. Now, the core idea was pretty simple, but it was absolutely revolutionary. Instead of these random, arbitrary taxes that could change every single year, the government would fix its share at 1/3 of a farm's average produce, and that average was calculated using data from the past 10 years. This brought stability and fairness to millions of people.
So how did it all work? Well, it was a systematic, data-driven approach. It's brilliant. Step 1, you measure every single piece of farmland, precisely. Step 2, you classify the soil based on how fertile it is. Step 3, you calculate the average yield and the average price for each crop over the last decade. And finally, Step 4, you fix the revenue, which was usually paid in cash. This gave stability to everyone, the farmer and the empire.
And the scientific basis of this system was what made it so genius. See, land wasn't just land. Was it pelage, which was farmed every year and super productive, or was it banjir, which had been left uncultivated for years? By classifying the land this way, he made sure that taxes were tied directly to what the land could actually produce. It was fair, it was logical, and boy was it effective.
But he didn't stop there. Oh no, this guy was all about standardization. He brought in a standard unit of length, the gauge, for all land measurement. He created uniform weights and measures to make trade smoother. He made Persian the official language for all government records, which unified the whole system. And then he set up a clear chain of command, a hierarchy of officials to manage the whole thing.
Now this wasn't just some quick fix for the 16th century. What Todar Mal did was create a blueprint for good governance that would last for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And here's why this still matters today. You know that system of having a village accountant, a patwari, who keeps detailed land records? He's the one who formalized that system. And it was so logical and so robust that its core ideas were later adopted by the British, and you can still see its influence in the land administration of modern India even now.
So, beyond all the numbers and systems, what kind of man was he? Well, he was known for his incredible character. Now, there's a famous story often linked with his name about an official who bought a piece of land for the last rites of the sons of a Sikh guru by covering the entire ground with 78,000 gold coins. It's one of the most famous land deals in history. Now, it's important to get the history just right here. Historians now attribute that specific act to another man, Divan Todar Mal of Sirhind. But the fact that this legend became so attached to the name tells you everything about the kind of integrity and respect that people like our Raja Todar Mal embodied.
All right, so let's boil this all down. What are the key things to remember? First, he was a strategic genius who took his experience working for an enemy and turned it into a massive asset. Second, he was the architect of the economic system that really funded the Mughal Golden Age. Third, he was that rare leader who was a rock star in the cabinet and on the battlefield. Fourth, he was a unifier who standardized the nuts and bolts of the empire. And fifth, his data-driven, common-sense approach to government left a legacy that lasted for more than 400 years.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The story of Raja Todar Mal really shows the incredible power of a single brilliant mind. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Can one person's dedication to logic, to data, and to fairness really be enough to shape the destiny of an entire empire for generations to come?